According to legend, the foundations of the city that would later become Istanbul date back to around 600 BCE. A Greek explorer named Bezos set out from the city of Megara, leading a group of colonists to establish a new settlement at the entrance of the strait. According to the story, before beginning his journey, Bezos consulted the Oracle of Delphi, and the priestess told him to found his new city opposite the land of the blind. However, Bezos understood the meaning of these words only when he reached the strait. On the other side, on the Asian shore, lay a settlement called Chalcedon, and Bezos thought that its inhabitants must have been blind for not choosing the far more advantageous location on the European side. Thus, he laid the foundations of the city of Byzantium on a triangular peninsula, the ancient predecessor of modern Istanbul. Whether the legend is true or not, at such an early period the city developed into a Greek trade center due to its strategic location, natural harbor, and its control over the sea passage between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. It possessed the typical features of classical Greek city-states: an acropolis, temples, marketplaces, and strong defensive walls to protect itself. Byzantium's fortunes rose and fell along with the power struggles of the ancient world. In 513 BCE, the city was drawn under the control of the Achaemenid Empire, a Persian state, and later, during the Peloponnesian War in the late 5th century BCE, it became a target for both Spartan and Athenian armies. Its so-called independence effectively ended in the 2nd century BCE, when it was incorporated into the expanding Roman Republic, and its name began to be used in its Latinized form, Byzantium. During the Roman Empire, the city remained part of the empire's vast territories. Yet it preserved a degree of local autonomy and retained its Greek character. However, in 193 CE, during yet another of Rome's endless civil wars, Byzantium backed the wrong side and unintentionally provoked the anger of Septimius Severus, who emerged as emperor. In 196, Severus arrived at the gates of Byzantium and began a siege. After capturing the city, he destroyed its defensive walls as punishment and inflicted devastating damage. For a short time the city was renamed Augusta Antonina, but it soon reverted to the name Byzantium and was reorganized according to a Roman grid plan: forums, baths, an arena, and the earliest version of the hippodrome, which would later become one of the city's defining landmarks, were built during this period. However, the first major turning point in Byzantium's history came in 324 CE, during the reign of Constantine the Great, who became the sole ruler of the Roman Empire after yet another civil war. Seeking a fresh start and a strategically important location from which to govern the empire's eastern provinces, Constantine chose ancient Byzantium as his new imperial capital. In 330 CE, the city was officially renamed Constantinopolis, marking the beginning of a period that would last for 1,600 years. The architects of Constantinople expanded the old Greek settlement, enlarging its boundaries to encompass the entire peninsula. New land walls were built to protect the western side of the city, since it was the only direction not shielded by water from enemy invasion. Within these walls, Constantinople was arranged with grand avenues and public buildings befitting an imperial capital. Constantine had his great palace constructed right beside the expanded hippodrome. The hippodrome became the focal point of public life, the social heart of the city, where crowds gathered to watch the famous chariot races of the blue and green factions. The emperor himself would watch the races from the imperial box to stir the enthusiasm of the people. Constantine did more than give the city his name. He also left his mark by commissioning a great forum in the city center, featuring a magnificent column topped with his own statue. But perhaps his most significant cultural legacy was his decision to convert to Christianity. This choice laid the foundations for Constantinople to become one of the most important centers of the new faith. At the end of the 4th century, when Emperor Theodosius I declared Christianity the official religion of the empire, Constantinople became the seat of the Eastern Church. The powerful patriarch who held authority here ranked second only to the Pope in Rome, firmly establishing the city as the capital of Eastern Christianity. Byzantium's transformation reached its full scale in the 5th century, when Emperor Theodosius II commissioned the construction of the massive land walls that bore his name. Completed in 413 CE, the Theodosian walls stretched more than 6 kilometers and consisted of a triple defensive system: a moat, an outer wall, and a formidable inner wall. These fortifications made Constantinople one of the most secure cities in the ancient world, capable of withstanding sieges for centuries. Even powerful invaders such as the Huns under Attila in the mid-5th century failed to breach them. As the Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476, Constantinople, protected by its walls and wealth, emerged as the new center of the Roman world. The most illustrious period of the city's history, however, unfolded under the reign of Justinian I in the 6th century. Determined to restore Roman greatness, Justinian launched ambitious campaigns to reconquer lost territories, stretching imperial control once more across North Africa, Italy, and parts of Spain. Inside the capital, he undertook equally monumental construction projects. Following the devastating Nika riots in 532, a violent uprising that nearly toppled his rule and destroyed large parts of the city, Justinian rebuilt Constantinople on a grander scale. His most enduring achievement was the Church of Hagia Sophia, completed in just 5 years and renowned for its massive dome, which seemed to float miraculously above the structure. For nearly 1,000 years it remained the largest church in the world and became a symbol of both imperial power and Christian faith. After Justinian's golden age, both Constantinople and the Byzantine Empire faced new threats. In the 7th and 8th centuries, Persian armies, and then the rapidly expanding Muslim Arab forces, advanced toward the city, conquering Byzantine-held territories in Syria, Egypt, and North Africa. The Umayyad Caliphate besieged Constantinople twice, first in 674 and again in 717, but failed to capture it. One key reason was the city's secret weapon, Greek fire, a flammable liquid projected from siphons that few armies could withstand. In the 11th century, the balance shifted against Byzantium. In 1071, at the Battle of Manzikert, the Byzantines were defeated by the Seljuk Turks, losing much of Anatolia. This loss severely weakened the empire's military and economic power. The emperors appealed for help from the West, namely the Catholic world in Europe. This call eventually led to the Crusades, which brought both assistance and disaster. Initially, Crusader armies passed through Constantinople en route to the east, but a growing mistrust developed due to the religious and cultural differences between the Latin, Western Catholic Crusaders and the Greek Orthodox Byzantines. This tension culminated in 1204 during the Fourth Crusade, resulting in one of history's most devastating betrayals. The Crusaders besieged Constantinople, breached its walls, and plundered the city. For 3 days the city was looted relentlessly, homes were burned, and treasures accumulated over 1,000 years were stolen. Even Hagia Sophia was entered, its sacred objects seized, and holy sites converted into stables, marking the ultimate religious and cultural clash. The Byzantine Empire collapsed, replaced by the Latin Empire. The Byzantine dynasty went into exile, and remnants of the empire survived as small states in Nicaea, Trebizond, and Epirus. In 1261, the Byzantine dynasty in Nicaea successfully recaptured Constantinople, and the city once again became the capital of Byzantium. Yet nothing was as it had been. The population had declined, the economy had collapsed, many monumental buildings were in ruins, and the empire was reduced to a few territories. Amidst this instability, a new power was rising rapidly in the Balkans and Anatolia, the Ottomans. During the 14th and 15th centuries, the Ottoman Empire gradually encircled Constantinople, step by step, creating a stranglehold around the city. Losing control of major trade routes caused inevitable economic decline. The last Byzantine emperor, Constantine XI Palaiologos, ruled an increasingly weakened state. Nevertheless, the city still stood with its massive walls and historical legacy, holding out as a last symbol of resistance. In 1453, Sultan Mehmed II, the Conqueror, launched a massive siege on Constantinople. Weeks of cannon fire, the breaking of the chain across the Golden Horn, and Mehmed's ingenious plan to transport ships overland brought the city's defenses to collapse. On May 29, 1453, Ottoman forces entered the city, bringing an end to the 1,000-year-old Eastern Roman Empire. The fall of Constantinople sent shockwaves across the feudal order in Europe and marked the end of the Middle Ages. Constantinople now became the capital of a new era. Istanbul, the center of the Ottoman Empire. Under Ottoman rule, Istanbul was not merely a conquered city, but the heart of a new empire. Sultan Mehmed II undertook extensive rebuilding to restore the city. People were brought from Anatolia, the Balkans, and other regions to repopulate it, reviving its multicultural and cosmopolitan character. Hagia Sophia was converted into a mosque, preserving its architectural grandeur as one of the city's most important symbols and places of worship. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire dissolved, and in 1923 the Republic of Turkey was established. Although the capital was moved to Ankara, Istanbul remained the country's largest city, economic hub, and cultural showcase. Old walls, palaces, churches, and mosques were preserved through restorations, and the city expanded rapidly along the Bosphorus. From the second half of the 20th century, Istanbul grew into a massive metropolis that attracted millions of migrants. Today, Istanbul, with a population exceeding 16 million, is the only city in the world that spans two continents, Europe and Asia. It simultaneously preserves Byzantine and Ottoman heritage, merging thousands of years of history with contemporary life, and continues as a unique cultural hub. Hagia Sophia, Topkapi Palace, the remnants of the Hippodrome, the Golden Horn, and the Bosphorus remain as silent witnesses of the past, still alive in the fabric of the city. The legendary story from Constantinople to Istanbul is not just the tale of a city. It is the story of three empires, multiple religions, cultures, and civilizations, all intertwined in one of the world's most remarkable cities.